Are you surprised nurses voted just overwhelmingly in favor of the action?
I'm actually not surprised, knowing, how nurses experience their job, their profession each and every day.
Hmm.
Not having enough nurses to provide care, not being able to meet patient care needs, the violence that nurses endure. Our physical and psychological injuries have gone up dramatically since before the pandemic. Like working conditions on some units in some areas are extremely poor. So, I am surprised. Over 50,000
Hmm.
nurses voted. I think that shows extraordinary engagement. Nurses. Taking the time to vote, that signals to me that this is very important to them, um, but not surprised, really.
What are the nurses looking for when it comes to their collective bargaining agreement? What changes do the nurses face, or what challenges do they face right now?
Yeah, well, so certainly, we've been at the table for just over 6 months, and we have proposed and counter proposed up to like 140 proposals. We've only heard back from the employer on 65 of them,
Okay.
and they only agreed to four, and one was literally correcting a spelling mistake in our current collective agreement. When what we're proposing are things that could improve working conditions in a
Mhm.
meaningful way, improve workload, improve patient care, address health and safety issues, address violence in the workplace. And so for us, it just wasn't feeling that the employer was taking our concerns seriously.
Mhm.
So that's certainly a big issue. Benefits is another huge issue. Nurses need eyeglasses so they can see the medications they're drawing up to give patients.
Mm.
We need hearing aids so we can effectively communicate with our patients. And we do need paramedicals to stay fit and healthy and able to provide the care that patients require at the bedside. So benefits is also another significant issue. And then, in terms of our compensation, other bargaining associations have been offered compensation that totals not only the general wage increase mandate that's been offered to everyone, but an additional 2% to cover off things like addressing workload and improving working conditions. Instead of that 2%, nurses have only been offered 0.4%. So, like, why should nurses take less? And so those are I would say sort of the top
Mhm.
sticking issues. But at the end of the day, we need an agreement that is competitive, one that respects us, one that makes sure that we, have the benefits that we need, so that we can provide care to British Columbians.
And if job action does take place, how would that look? What would we be seeing then in a healthcare setting?
Well, first, I want to start off by saying that the last thing that any nurse wants to do is to withdraw labor. And really, that is at the extreme end of a continuum.
Mm.
Our next step is to get back to the bargaining table. And so once we receive the results of the vote, we have reached out to the employer. We're the ones that walked away from the table on April 20th. And we said, we are willing to return to the table and roll up our sleeves and negotiate an agreement if you're willing to come to the table and be reasonable and negotiate with us. The employer has signaled that they are willing to come back to the table. So we'll see. So that is the next move. Let's
Okay.
see if we can negotiate something. If not, then we will entertain job action. What is required is 72 hours notice, and we would start with things that would not interrupt patient care.
Okay.
We know it's difficult enough being a patient in this province, trying to access the care that people need. The last thing we want to do is to make that even more difficult. So we would center our job action around taking steps that would create pressure on the employer, while making sure that patient care is not interrupted, or at least if it is minimally. And so doing things like working to rule or banning non-nursing duties. We could certainly have information pickets. We could restrict overtime.
Mhm.
Those are things that we would consider. Withdrawing labor would really be a very last resort, and not one that we would do. That would mean that the employer and the government has put us there.
Okay. We hear time and time again over the last several years about accessing healthcare. It is so difficult for people to get timely care. We see ERs closing because they're not properly staffed. We hear countless reports of violence against nurses and other healthcare professionals. How did we get to this point in the BC healthcare system?
Well, where I would want to start is it isn't actually unique to just BC. The BC Nurses Union is part of the Canadian Federation of Nurses Unions, and I can tell you, in speaking with union presidents across this country, it is not just unique to BC. We are challenged as a nation to ensure that we have enough nurses. I think, poor planning, resource planning, human resource planning is what got us here. And I think the pandemic certainly exacerbated the situation. So nurses that were willing to stay in the profession chose to leave. But you know what got us here? I mean, does that matter as much as what do we need to do to get us out of here? And I think for BC, we do have minimum nurse to patient ratios. That is a positive. However, for those to be successful, we need to recruit and retain many more nurses to this province. And so let's get an agreement that is competitive. Let's address the violence in the workplace. Did you know that one nurse goes off every 16 hours on a work safe claim just due to violence?
I didn't know.
Yeah, and so that has gotten so much worse over the years. Injury rates for my members have gone up 25%. That's other types of injuries, musculoskeletal, for example, since 2019. Psychological injuries have increased threefold. And so, how do we get out of here? We need to make sure that working is not dangerous. Let's address the health and safety issues that are impacting nurses, which also impact the care conditions for patients. That's a start. Again, an agreement that is competitive. We used to be the highest paid nurses in Canada. That drew nurses here. That's no longer the case. So I think we need to really focus on ratios. How do we recruit and retain enough nurses to make sure that we have the minimum nurse to patient ratios that we have agreed with government to implement? We know that ensures safe, quality patient care. We know that ratios retains nurses to the system. So let's focus on building a system that is accessible to all British Columbians. Let's look to the future.
All right, Adriane, we'll leave it there for now, but I really appreciate you taking time with us today.
Thank you, and have a wonderful afternoon.
You as well. That's Adriane Gear, BC Nurses Union President.